Hello, welcome to this tutorial on the ins and outs of cutting and pasting with SQL Developer and MyDesktop. For this session, I'm assuming that you can get MyDesktop open and that you can get SQL Developer running, and we'll just go through a couple of illustrations to show how this is done. You might want to note this little hamburger symbol up the top here. It becomes quite important. So let's start with a scenario. At the moment, I would like to build a connection to the flight database, one of the read-only databases in Oracle, and I have the information for it on a local screen here. There's the host and the service name, but I need them not here on my local machine. I need them over here in SQL Developer. So let me just click the new connection button, and there's information down here that we need to add in. Now that information is back on my local machine. Here it is here. So I'll just pick up the host name, control copy that, and then back to SQL Developer, use the hamburger icon there, and then the clipboard icon, and then paste it into there. Control V. Close that, and now I can paste at the other end, at the remote end. Control V straight into the host name. Now I want to put the service name in. It's exactly the same process. Back to my local machine. Control C, copy what I need. Back to my desktop and the clipboard. Control V to paste it in. And then just click on the field where I want it and Control V to paste it into that window at the far end. Let's just add in a few more details. I just tested that and it's successful. So I'll click on Save the Password, so that password stays with the properties, and then save the whole connection. And that now becomes available over here as one of my connections. Okay, so I have my my flight connection set up, ready to go, and now I'm going to do a little bit of work in it. So I click on it and open a worksheet. The worksheet shows that it's connected to that particular connection, my flight connection, and now I'm interested in doing some SQL. So if I select star from tab to find out the tables that are in it, Control Enter, I get a list of the tables that are in the database. If I want to look at what's in port, the port table, it's ports, not port. Now I can run that. Now, say I want to keep the this SQL here. At the moment, it's on the MyDesktop entity running SQL Developer, and I want it, for instance, to put in my assignment. How do I get it back? Well, there's a same kind of process of copy and paste to get it back. So you highlight the data you want, Control Copy, hamburger icon, clipboard, and Control Copy here means that it's now on my local clipboard. Now I can wander off to my assignment and just paste it directly in. What you might be wondering about, though, is how to do full file transfers, especially for building the databases as you need them. And I'd like to demonstrate that as well. What I've got to do is get the file up to the H drive in RMIT, because the H drive is stable and anything you store in there is available from anywhere. So once again, I use the icons and use the upload icon. Select the file I want, press open. You click on this PC because this is the RMIT MyDesktop PC, and then you navigate down till you get to the H drive. Once you're in the H drive, you can now create a file for storing, create a folder for storing that file. So I'm going to make a new folder and I'll call it File Upload. And I'll press OK. And in the background, that file transfer will have occurred. Now I'm going to use the Open icon in SQL Developer and navigate to the same place. H drive, down to File Upload, and there is the Rocky Basic file that I just uploaded. Click on Open, and there it is. Now, opening a file in SQL Developer doesn't necessarily connect it to a database. You have to go over here to the right hand side and click onto an appropriate open connection that you want this to run in. Once you've made the connection, you're then able to run the script. If you create a file, and we can use this file as an example, and you want to get that back down, the process is pretty close to reverse what you've got. You can save as, and in the same file area, I'll just give it a name. Here's test file, and save that. And to get it back down again, we go through the reverse process. It's the hamburger symbol and the download. The first thing is to find it on your H drive. There's the file that I want to download. Click on Open. And you'll now find that the file is available in your download folder on your local machine. All that's well and dandy. If you store stuff on the H drive, you'll be able to access it anytime you want. But one thing that does disappear when you close the SQL Developer is all the connections. So there needs to be a way to be able to store your connections, and indeed there is. So let me just demonstrate that. To export your connections, you click on the connections word and right click on it, and then there's export connections. You click on export connections and you select which ones you want. Now typically it'll be all of them. Click on next and find a place to put them. Now this is again has to be in the H drive. Now it just so happens that I've already got a spot for connections in the H drive, so I'm just going to save all these ones. And once you've selected the location, you click next, and here's a clue. To save yourself a lot of trouble, you should encrypt this file. So you should click the encryption of all passwords, and the key to use is something incredibly simple. I just use A, the letter A, lowercase a, every time, just to allow the passwords to be kept with the export. Otherwise you're going to have to retype the passwords when you import them again. So use encryption, use something very simple for the key. A is enough. Click next. That's a summary of what is supposed to happen, and then click Finish. And you now have all the information encoded in that one file for all your connections. So if I wanted to import those files, and let's just get rid of this one here, the My Flight connection, which is the one I created earlier. If I delete that, and I can pretend that I'm coming in again from into my desktop tomorrow, for instance, and it's not there, and I would like it to be there, the way to get it back is to click the, not the plus, but right-click Connections, Import. You need to navigate to where it is. Here's Connections. Press Open. Press Next. You'll have to supply that that very difficult key, and then you have a selection. And the one that I want to get back is the My Flight connection. So I just click on that one, or you can click this single key at the top to get all the ones that you've made in. My Flight's the only one I want this time around, and I'll click on Next and then Finish, and then the My Flight connection is now available to me again. And we're in. So that's the sum of it. That's how to cut and paste both up to SQL Developer in MyDesktop, and to get your queries. And that's a point, that you build queries while you're in MyDesktop, and you want to be able to copy and paste them back into your documents back on your local machine. So I've demonstrated both those things, plus how to file transfer both up to the H drive and back down from the H drive. And you should store all files in the H drive, whether you're using SQL Developer or something else, so that you have access. Rightio, and of course the last thing was how to export and import your connections for each time. It just saves a lot of time, saves keystrokes and errors. I hope that's been useful to you, and good luck with your studies. Thank you.